Welcome to Know Your Role, a guide to Dungeons & Dragons. I'm your host Blake Nath, and during this special I will be taking a party of new players through an exciting game of Dungeons & Dragons. But first I'm going to go through a brief breakdown of this nerdy hobby, often played by geeks in pop culture such as the hit show on Netflix, Stranger Things. Dungeons & Dragons, or D&D, is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game created by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson in 1974. The game is part improvisational acting and part individual character-based wargame, set in a universe inspired by mythology, medieval history, and fantasy novels such as Lord of the Rings. The only things necessary to play are the core rulebooks, a set of polyhedral dice, a few players, and one person to act as the storyteller, most commonly referred to as the Dungeon Master, or DM for short. The players create their own players to play as, designed around different classes and archetypes as described in the official player's handbook. Each character has a set of numeric values or stat points for different skills and attributes based on their personality and playstyles. These dictate the chances of success for almost anything a player character does, from swinging a sword to retelling the history of an ancient temple. The Dungeon Master acts as an impartial mediator of gameplay. They describe the setting and events of the game, either based on a story they have written themselves or pre-made professionally published adventures or campaigns. The Dungeon Master also plays and acts as every other character and enemy in the story. Following these basic rules based around simple mathematics, characters have an infinite amount of possibilities and choices, only limited by the imagination of the players and their Dungeon Master. Dungeons & Dragons can be summarized as an interactive fantasy story, utilizing elements of strategy, improvisation, and chance.
Alright, well now that you guys know kind of how the game is played, we'll just jump right into it. Alright, we got a group of my friends here from the office who are going to play a little adventure with us. So we'll start with introductions. We'll start here. Brian, introduce yourself, what you do here, and who you're going to be playing as today.
So yes, I'm a reporter here at NewCap, and I'm playing Jeremy Lightfoot, who is a half-elf warlock.
Well, moving on to my friend Zach over here. Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your character.
My name's Zach. I work upstairs in production, so I press play on the news and put mics on and do all sorts of fancy stuff. And my character is Durin the Sorcerer. I'm a dwarfen mage, or sorcerer, I guess is what we call it.
All right, we'll move on to Eric now, my good friend Eric. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your character.
Okay, well, I'm Eric, and I'm an editor here, and my character is Flea Higginbottom. He is a halfling cleric, Flea Higginbottom III, because, we gotta keep the namesake going.
Last but surely not least, our good friend Reed. Tell us
Hi.
a little bit about yourself and
All
your
right.
character.
So I work in master control. I'm kind of lazy, so I don't want to explain that. I just deal with the commercial side of stuff behind the scenes as well. So my name's Loaf. No last name, kind of like Cher or Sting.
Did you say loaf?
Yeah, loaf.
Loaf.
Like a bread loaf.
Like meatloaf?
No, like a bread loaf. Bread.
We can. It's
I guess all loaves. So I'm a gnome fighter. So my story is, I was pretty much a slave, but I was trying to steal bread from the little food part in the ship I was on. They threw me overboard. That's where I got the nickname Loaf, because I was trying to steal a loaf of bread.
Everybody has a pretty interesting backstory. We all have our reasons to go out and adventure in the world, so we'll just get right into it. So this is a story and adventure that I've written for you guys to romp around in for the afternoon here. So we'll just get started. All right. So you guys have you've all joined together at this point. You all have had your adventures in the past independently, but you guys ended up partying together, as you would say. So our party of potential heroes currently resides in the small but prosperous town of Sheffield, inhabited by farmers and roadside traders. It has a rich history, but has remained quaint and isolated from the large bustling cities surrounding it. To the north is dense forest leading to a large mountainous region known as Bloodstone. It's completely shrouded in dark clouds and fog. It's very ominous, and dark and scary looking. To the south is lush pastures, followed by infinite oceans off in the distance. Very beautiful sight. You guys had been adventuring around for a while, and this town had offered you guys refuge in exchange for services. They said, we'll keep you fed, we'll give you home, shelter, all the wonderful, luxurious things that you guys could want in exchange for you keep us safe, make sure the bandits stay out of town and the traders have a safe path. So you guys accepted that. Everything went all well and good for about the first year or so, but unfortunately, one day, a dark plague of unknown origins swept across the countryside. Famine and pestilence began to run rampant as folks became sick and plants began to wither and die. And the city elders, rather than leave, of course, like cowards, they refused to leave their homestead and instead studied their ancient historical records that retell the history of their region. An old passage detailed a mystical artifact that was once stolen and sealed in an ancient dungeon on top of Mount Bloodstone. It was written that this wondrous device had the power to heal, purify, and provide sustenance for thousands of people. It was a source of great power in Sheffield. Unfortunately, the scriptures also say that the entire town of Sheffield was once nearly decimated by a chaotic beast who sought to steal the mystical item known only as the Holy Decanter. The elders quickly gathered the party and informed them of their mission. They hoped that you guys would travel to this ancient dungeon and look for this ancient mystic decanter, this holy decanter that you guys aren't even sure if it exists, but I mean, the town's paying you, so you guys are going to head over there anyways.
That's reason enough for me.
Of course. All right, so the party nobly decides to uphold their promise to protect the village. They set out in search of the alleged legendary artifact. You guys travel north for about 3 days through thick forests and up rugged mountainsides, narrowly avoiding death and certain danger the entire way. Upon reaching the summit, you guys find a hidden doorway leading into a small round staircase. You begin to descend as you enter deep, deep into the earth. When you reach a plateau, you look out. You see a small room resembling a chapel with several small pews in front of a large altar. The room is abnormally dark, despite being filled with dozens, if not hundreds of lit candles lining decorative shelves on the walls. It seems as though some sort of dark force or magic is suppressing the light in this room. Behind the altar is a large statue, a very detailed statue of an angel and a demon, and they appear to be pulling on and fighting over an empty lantern. The altar itself has a single candle on it, which glows more brightly than all the other candles in the room. It is the only true source of light in this otherwise dim room. What do you guys want to do?
Can I do a detect magic?
So you detect magic, and you do manage to notice that there is quite a bit of magic in this room. This entire area seems to be encased in a magical aura. But you do notice specifically in this room, you can tell that there is some sort of a darkening spell placed on this room. It seems like it's been here for a long time, which is the reason why it's suppressing all of the light. Why, even though most of the candles are lit, they seem very, very dim. You can hardly see any light off of them, except for the one candle in the center of the altar, which you notice itself seems very magical. And you take a look at it, and you actually notice that it has this red ribbon with a holy insignia stamped on it, and there's actually an inscription on the altar underneath the candle.
Can I do a check to see if I recognize any of the symbols or can read
Yeah,
them?
definitely, of course. So you take a look. You go and you stand over the altar and you take a real deep look at it, and you actually you can tell that this is a dwarven construction of some sort. It's a dwarven table, and it's magical. And you read the inscription, and you manage to make out what it says, even though it's very old and is covered in dust. But you read the inscription, and it says, "The light of the holy dispels all darkness." And that's written right around the candle.
What do we do?
That's the question. It almost sounds like a puzzle, doesn't it?
Is there? Are
I'm
we
gonna
able to?
cast Mage Hand
Okay.
as a cantrip, and concentrating, I'm going to reach out and lift the candle.
And you do that, and the candle floats.
And nothing happens.
Nothing yet.
What if we put the candle out?
Oh, I can reach it. I just smush out the flame.
You smush out the flame. Okay.
Hopefully that is a good thing and not a very bad thing.
The flame is out now. So the entire party hears a click in the rattling chains as a mechanism is triggered, and the angel statue actually releases from the lantern. And the angel statue slides as they split apart, and the angel statue slides into the wall, as now behind it is a doorway leading deeper into the dungeon.
My character gives one of these, like, for figuring it out. No problem.
All right, so good job, guys. You made it through the first room, through the first puzzle. All right, so the adventurers continue down the narrow passage as they continue into the interior of the dungeon. It's dimly lit with old torches lining the walls, which still burn despite there being what seems like hundreds of years of dust on the floor. This place seems like it's been abandoned for a very long time, so very odd. The whole dungeon appears to be constructed on cobblestone, expertly placed and unmoved for ages. After walking for a short while, you guys see a fork in the path ahead, which branches off into 2 different directions. And what I'm actually going to have you guys do is I'm going to have everyone roll a passive perception check. So this is you guys, just your characters taking a second to look around the room and see what they see.
Which one is that?
D20.
All
Yeah.
right.
I got a 10.
You got a 10?
I have 17.
With proficiency? Okay.
Yeah,
I have 17 as well.
17 as well? Okay.
Got a measly 9.
I'm actually negative.
All right, so Reed and Brian, actually, you guys, you took a good look around and you saw this weird shimmering in the center of the fork in the fork in the passageway, which definitely seemed off to you. Yeah, there's a light that shines through and it bounces off against the walls.
So, okay, guys, just wait. There's something kind of strange about this fork. I'm going to cast Mage Hand again and just pass the hand through the shimmering.
All right, as you move the magical force that you create, pushing it through the passageway, you actually, now you can see, once your eyes adjust to it, you can see there's actually a very strange translucent gelatinous cube right in the center of where the passageway splits, and your hand pushes it through and it smushes it around like jello almost, as you guys all see it at the same time. You kind of lock into it, and oh boy, everybody roll for initiative.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh boy, everybody roll for initiative.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, so this is our
Natural
first
20!
official encounter. Oh, beautiful.
12? Or plus proficiency, right?
Plus your initiative,
Oh,
yes.
okay, 13.
13, okay.
23.
9.
5. I'm just
All right.
not aware. I'm just like,
Oh, what's going
We're
on
still
here,
tired. We woke
dude?
up.
well, up until it revealed itself, I'm just watching, he's just pushing a hand, and I'm like,
So I will instantly throw 2 bolts from my Eldritch Blast
Okay, all right.
right at it.
So go ahead and roll to hit for me.
11 plus, that's really high.
Yes.
20 to hit.
Oh, yes, you definitely hit. So go ahead and roll damage for me.
So that is a 1 and a 10, 11, plus because I have Agonizing Blast, it's another 10 on top of that. 5 for each blast. So,
Okay.
So that's 21.
21, perfect. All right, your turn, Eric.
oh, cool. I am just going to walk up and try and hit it.
So go ahead and swing to hit for me, buddy.
All right.
There
I
we-
rolled a 1.
There we go.
So that's great.
Oh my
Doesn't matter
god!
Natural 1, okay. So
Going well, guys.
Yeah.
a natural 1, obviously, on scale of 1 to 20, is the worst possible thing that can happen. So, Flea in his overexcitement, he really wants to help his friends. He pulls out his mace, but as he does, he rips his belt on his pants, and they fall to the ground. He spends the rest of his turn pulling his pants up and fixing his belt. All right, Reed, your turn.
All right, so
Loaf, please.
Loaf, in typical fashion, just sprints right towards it with his great sword in hand, and he just swings.
All right, he starts chopping. Go for
Just
it.
goes. D20, yeah?
Yep, you betcha.
1.
Oh my god! You
Screwed.
I've been there.
Got a 1.
Oh boy. Okay, you
How tight's your belt?
you take a wild run at it, and Loaf is very excited, and he sprints, and he manages to just trip over his own feet as he throws his sword at the gelatinous cube as it just slides impotently about a foot in front of it.
I laugh.
I look at you and go, solidarity. I did that on purpose. We're the same.
All right, I'll cast Barrier Frost. That's 2d8. That's a 3. And a 1, 4 plus my 6 is 10.
Okay. Solid hit, solid hit. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
I'll jump behind the warlock.
Good idea.
I am taller than you.
That moves it onto the gelatinous cube's turn. Oh. So you two are out in front. This gelatinous cube, it's a very slow, hulky moving thing, but it starts sliding towards you guys, and it attempts to just engulf you and to wrap around you like it's giving you a big old jello hug. So actually, I'm gonna need you two to both roll dexterity saves for me. Right now, you're gonna try and jump out of the way.
Ooh, that's not good.
Oh my god.
You got
All
a
right.
5 too?
We're all gonna die.
So you both failed. You guys try to get yourself going to move, but you both trip over yourselves again in your haste to get out. So the gelatinous cube moves up to you guys and engulfs you guys as you take 13 damage each.
That's not bad.
I mean, it's jello. It's trying to digest you. It's going to take a while. All right, Brian, back to you.
Okay, how close am I to it?
You're about 10 feet back.
Okay, so I'm going to take 10 feet further back,
Okay.
and then I'm going to cast Witch Bolt.
Okay. Okay, do you have to roll to hit on that, though?
Oh, yes.
Yep, so go ahead and roll a d20.
Oh, you could nuke yourself.
That's not going to happen. Because that's 14 plus 9 is 23.
You do, you hit.
Okay. That's 10, 18, 21 plus 21 plus 10, 31 damage. Lightning damage.
Ooh. All right, yeah, you charge up this big blast of magical lightning energy, and you throw it as the arc connects, and there's a steady current going from your hand into this big gelatinous cube. So, great job on that. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn? You have a free, like a bonus action.
A bonus action? Yeah, so that's a bonus action to conjure a weapon, I think?
Yeah.
So I'll just do that. I will conjure a rapier in my hand.
Sounds good. So he does that. So this kind of shocks the rest of you guys, not you, because you're familiar with the illusionary magics. But he just concentrates on his hand for a quick second, and poof, as a magical shiny rapier pops into his hand. All right, Eric, your turn. Time to redeem yourself, Lee.
I'm going to cast Freedom of Movement on Loaf.
Oh, very nice.
I touch a willing creature, and for the duration, this movement is unaffected by difficult terrain, spells, or other magical effects, which neither can reduce the target's speed or cause him to be paralyzed or restrained.
Okay, and you don't have to roll. He's a willing creature, and all you
cool.
have to do is touch him, so it doesn't require a lot of precise aiming.
Touched.
Good job. All right, anything else you want to do with your turn?
I'm just going to tell him, get out, you're killing yourself.
Good job, boys. All right. Read your turn.
I think since I'm in the inside, I'm at its weakest point. So it's trying to eat me, I'll eat it. So I just grab handfuls of the jelly, like in my little tiny hands, start eating it, and hopefully that does a good.
What if he starts eating you from the inside?
I'm shaking my
didn't
head
think-
over here. I'm just like,
Well,
I want to see where this goes, so you please roll for me.
all right. Please don't be a 1.
20!
Redemption.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Yeah, you start just shoveling fistfuls of this gelatinous cube that you don't even know what it's made of. You just start shoving it into your gullet.
He's a gnome. He's gonna explode.
You fill yourself until you are absolutely, like, almost bursting from this thick, gooey substance as it loses the rest of its structural integrity, and it just kind of, it just floods the ground as a gross, goopy liquid.
He destroyed the cube by eating it.
He ate his way out of the cube. Yes, he did.
We need someone to write folk songs about you.
I know.
Yeah, so congratulations on that one, guys.
And I look at him and I say, "Nice rapier, idiot," and I'm just huge.
And as the gelatinous cube releases all over the floor, you guys hear a cling, cling, clang, clang as something falls on the ground.
Perception check.
Perception check. Go for it.
Natural 20!
Oh, wow. Very good. Very good. So you take a look. You walk over to the space that was previously occupied by the gelatinous cube. You take a look at the ground and you realize that there are some very heavy, shiny weapon arraignments that obviously were in this cube from whoever the last adventurer was who thought he could come through here. He was clearly digested, but the items that they left behind were still here. You quickly take a look at it. You notice that they're very finely crafted weapons, and each one has an insignia on it with a dragon's head. They look like dragon hunting equipment to you.
Oh, could be useful.
Possibly.
Could
it
be
appears
useful.
that a clan of dragon hunters were the last people to pass through here.
Oh, and how many weapons are there?
There are 4 weapons there. There is a greatsword, there is a mace, there is a staff, and there is a magic wand.
Well, dibs on the magic wand.
You can't leave me with like the dwarf-sized weapon.
The staff probably would be better suited for you. He is a tiny guy. He could carry the staff, but he's
No,
so
it's all
small.
good. The staff might be
Oh,
one size
okay.
fits all.
Okay, I grudgingly hand over the wand to one of my many short companions here.
Maybe you're not
Everyone
evil
is
after
below
all.
4 feet tall here, except me.
You are the tallest.
And then, so I'll give the mace to, what's your name?
Flea Higginbottom
Flea.
the third.
I'll
the,
give it to
the
Flea.
third.
Flea the third.
That's right.
And then I'll give the
Humphrey.
great sword to you.
The third would
And
work,
I'll take
yeah.
the staff.
Sounds good. All right.
And then, can we take a short rest?
Yeah, sure. Your party can take like a quick 5-10 minutes to kind of catch their breath after that. So you guys continue down the path. You continue to follow the hallway as it drags on, and it becomes increasingly darker. After a long stretch of darkness, you see a light off in the distance, and you follow the path to a small study. Once you're inside the room, you look over and you see a faint ghostly apparition crying quietly in the corner. Suddenly she stops, and everything in the room goes quiet. She turns around and she looks at you guys, and her face is pale white and is filled with sorrow and bewilderment. She begins to speak. She says, "Oh my goodness, you've startled me. How embarrassing. I wasn't expecting any guests, and my study and I are both quite the mess. Oh dear, I'd certainly be blushing if I still had the physical body required for such displays of emotion. 1,000 apologies, gentlemen. Please, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jan Rath, and I'm the curator of this ancient structure. You see, I've been here alone. Well, mostly alone anyways, for well over a century. I traveled here a long time ago, following in a uniquely intense magical aura into these caverns. It was a juxtaposition of the holiest and darkest energies I've ever felt. It took me across the world and deep into these caves. However, I was outsmarted by the guardian of these chambers before I could discover the true source of the energy. I was murdered and my soul was bound to this dungeon, forever trapped in these walls to be the caretaker of these grounds. I have nothing to do but clean and read my books I've crafted over years from my memory. This place is like an eternal prison, but please, enough about me. I haven't had a guest in a very long time. The only others who have ever visited, they never made it past my pet blob out front. So why don't we play a game, guys? I never get to host anymore. Please, let's have some fun. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a prize if you guys are able to solve one of my riddles. What say you?
I say, all right,
Can I
let's do it.
use
Sure.
detect thoughts to see if there's some kind of mysterious catch?
Yeah, please go
Two-side
for it.
game. 14.
You use detect thought, and you manage, even though she's a ghost and she doesn't have a physical brain for you to kind of magically get inside, you still manage to kind of get into her brain waves, and you can tell that she is sincere. She is being truthful with you guys. She is just a very lonely person.
Because my my master is a great old one, I can communicate telepathically with anyone within 30 feet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, what's your guy's name again?
Durin.
Durin. I'm going to ask Durin. Durin, what do you think's going on here?
She seems sincere. I say we go along with it, but stay alert and cautious.
Okay.
All right, so she looks at you and she goes, all right, I've been saving this one for a while. Now, what am I? I am of no use for one, yet absolute bliss for two. The small boy gets it for nothing, the young man has to lie for it, the old man has to buy it. What am I?
Is it a kiss?
It is. How lovely. That's one of my favorite riddles. It's so pious and nice. Very wonderful. Splendid. How wondrous. It's always nice to be in the presence of such insightful and intuitive specimens. As promised, here is a present for lifting my low spirits. I can manifest you a scroll containing a powerful incantation which will help you with the trial ahead. And as she says that, she waves her hands as you see what seems like a translucent spell scroll form in the air. And as she waves her hand once, a big flash of light as it actually manifests into a physical piece of paper that you're holding in your hands. She says, since you were all so nice to me, I'll warn you now that the same mighty beast who slayed me many moons ago is still protecting these sacred halls. This will help you stop the beast in his tracks, but only momentarily, so you may quickly gain advantage. It may be the difference between tremendous success and spending the rest of your days wandering these halls with me. I give you my sincerest regards and wish you luck with the challenges ahead, she says.